Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is your girl, Ms. Good News, right here with WLJZ 107.1 FM at Livingstone College, a HBCU, a prominent school, a wonderful school, a life-changing school, a school of many, 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 many great people, such as yourself, Mr. James. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, thank you. First of all, let me say thank you for inviting me. My name is James V. Cockerham, Cockerham, with the silent H. I'm a music composer, arranger, producer, recording artist, church musician. I have 6 albums, 5 CDs to my credit. I've written 3 musical stage productions. A Gift of Love was a production that was performed at a theater here in Atlanta, and Miss Ruby D. Davis was the star of the show.
Wow.
But also, out of all my recordings, the 6 albums, the 5 CDs were all gospel music. My last project is a social consciousness project, and it's called Looking.
Wow.
All these songs are based on social consciousness.
Mm.
So many of and basically, I have written a book, and that book tells stories about the songs. And then at the end, we tie it all together with the arrangement that I did of called Fantasia on Lift Every Voice and Sing. And it's music taken from Lift Every Voice and Sing by J. Rosamond Johnson. But
Wow.
in it, I take the music through phases. It's called program music.
Okay.
And of course, it begins in Africa. It's a 12/8 rhythm. And in the African American culture, we know that rhythm.
That's right.
We know that rhythm. But for many years, we used the Europeanized version because that was quote unquote acceptable.
Right.
Now, we are free.
Right.
We're
That's
no
right.
longer limited to, well, you can only buy time in the Southeast first, and then Midwest, and then we'll go to the West Coast, and then we'll go to the world to present your music.
Right. Right.
Now, this project is getting play around the world.
That's amazing.
There's a song called Winner, and I will be at Livingstone April 23rd, 2023. Of I just saw something pop on the screen, but
Right.
and I will be there April 23rd. I will be doing selected readings from the book. The name of the book is called Looking: Past, Present, Future.
Mm.
And there are short stories, poetry, prose, fiction, nonfiction, all tied together.
I like that. Look,
Cover.
let me interrupt you because you said a lot. That's a lot. Okay, so how I've never heard of that before. A person bringing an album, putting it together in correlation with book. That's really interesting. Like, how did you come up with that particular?
Well, let's start with the song Winter. And of course, I'm not going to give you everything, but
Right.
in the song Winter, it says, life was not easy in my neighborhood. It took skills to survive, but I had a teacher who taught me how to think.
Mm.
My neighborhood is changing. I just bought my street. I'm a winner.
I
And
like
in the
it.
story, we have 3 national sports players who make 50, $100 million a year. They decide to join forces and they buy a street. Martin Luther King Drive, for an example.
Mm.
They have bought all the houses on the street. Miss Lucy has been living on the street for 40 years, renting her house. When they purchase her house, they go in to see her. And she has a chair sitting in front of the refrigerator to keep the door closed. It's drafty, it's windy. Well, guess what? They come in and say, Miss Lucy, we're buying you a new refrigerator, a new stove, new countertops, redoing your floors, redoing the roof. We're putting in some new heating and air. You remember John from down the street? And she said, oh, yeah, Miss Mary's boy? Yeah, him. Well, didn't he go to prison? Yeah, but he's out. And guess what? He started his own business.
Wow.
He's not looking for a job. He's hiring people.
That's right.
He's doing the air conditioning heating for us. And remember Bobo? Oh, yeah, the little boy down the street got busted for drugs. Yeah. He went to prison. Yeah, but guess what? He does lawn. He's going to fix up your yard. It's going to be a manicured yard. With the shrubbery's going to be trimmed. We're going to bring in some new shrubbery because we think it would sort of set your house out. We got somebody else that's going to be doing the painting. We're doing your windows and floors. And she, wait, stop right here. How much is all that going to cost me? Miss Lucy, it's not costing you anything. Am I going to have to move? No, Miss Lucy. Well, my rent going up? No, Miss Lucy. As a matter of fact, we're going to reduce your rent just a little bit because of your age. And you've been here so long.
Wow.
That's what we're going to do for you, Miss Lucy.
That's beautiful.
And it's not just her house. It's every house on the street. And you may say, well, you just giving money to those. No. We're reinvesting in our neighborhood.
That's right.
So now we have bought the street. Miss Lucy's house used to be worth $45,000. You know how much Miss Lucy's house is worth now? $685,000 in Atlanta. Mainly because folks want to live there.
That's right. Right.
The same people are in the neighborhood. Those three NBA, NFL, AF, whoever the professional players are, and it doesn't have to be sports because we have entertainers who with that same kind of money. But we start putting our money together instead of buying a $4 million house on the north side of town to get out of the place where we were brought up. We can still buy the house instead of putting wide rims on our airplane that nobody's going to see when you take off. We put the money in our neighborhood.
Right.
The supermarket moved out. Guess what the same people did? They bought the building. You walk in the store in our neighborhood and you have fresh vegetables. From where? South Georgia, where the farmers are. North Carolina, where the farmers are. We have fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. We have canneries where we're canning in food. And those are the things that we're putting in our stores, in our neighborhood.
So this is definitely
because we're winners.
A project. We are winners. And I was about to say this is definitely a project. Everything that you're working on is has substance. And that's the thing. We have to continue to add value to ourselves so that we can add value to our community in such a way, even when it comes to music, especially music, because we meditate on music and it's repetition and that's how people learn. And so the music that you're putting out, I'm glad that it's reaching everyone in the world and that it's so informative because we need to know. People perish because of lack of knowledge. And so you're informing people is needed, is wanted, and it looks good too. So we win.
And even with the Fantasia on Lift Every Voice and Sing, it begins with that rhythm, but then it moves to the part where we're traveling from the continent of Africa to North America. We're less than 1 inch apart. There was no, excuse me, sir, may I use the restroom? No. We urinated on ourselves. We defecated on ourselves. We ate our food with unwashed hands. You look across and someone's regurgitating. You look further down to the right and they're taking the chains off this body to discard them over the side of the ship because they're no longer of any value. That part of that work is what you call chaotic texture. And people listen to it and they're like, what is this? And it becomes annoying. And then you hear the woodwinds going.
Wow.
That's Morse code for free. And pretty soon the whole orchestra saying, and then it got bing. Then it's 1619, Baroque period. But so it just takes you through those things, and then you have the toom 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 toom, which is jazz, our music, and the diddly, that's the gospel side. So you have jazz and gospel talking to each other, and then at the end we go to lift every voice and sing.
Well, how did you get so educated in music? Because you have like a large vocabulary and just a range of information. Okay, so where did you study at, and how did you get to this place in your life where you could talk about it?
Oh, I went to Livingstone College.
Yay, Livingstone College! Let me show my shirt.
That's where it all came from. That was the root. Well, actually, it goes back to Lincoln Heights School. It was an all-black school 2 years before integration, and our teachers prepared us for the world.
That's right.
They told us there's so much in this book, but they taught us you got to be 10 times better than your competitor. I always believed it. I was a health administrator at two of the largest jails in Georgia, and then like a dummy, I became a program director for the whole state of Georgia in the prison system. I did not at that time understand why God would put me in those positions. But now the song called Let Them Go deals with the prison system.
Wow.
And Algebra Blissett, I don't know if you've heard of her or not, but she sings the song. D1 talks about the situation where we have so many young African-American men and women in prison, and they really shouldn't be. And I know I'm almost out of time, and there's so much to talk about. But
I know.
In April, we'll be talking about several of these stories.
Right.
And some of them are true and some are fiction. There's a true story, but I'm not allowed to identify the individuals. But they were two little guys in a community. One father was an attorney. The other father was a physician. But they decided to go and rob a bank with weapons. You know what the judge sentenced them? Mm-hmm. You are required to attend college.
Wow.
On the other hand, JoJo and John smoking the joint. JoJo's just a driver, but the police stop him. He goes to jail and he calls and says, Grandmama,